The Lost Child. We are going to carry on from this very page number. A full deep cry rose within his dry throat, and with a sudden jerk of his body, he ran from where he stood, crying in real fear. Mother, father. So now he was crying in real fear. Why the writer says like real fear? Because children usually cry. In front of children, children usually cry, like, but that is like a cry that some the children howl or cry because they want something. But now the parents were not around him, so he knew that now he was lost. So now he was really panicked. So tears rolled down from his eyes, hot and fierce. His flushed face was convulsed with fear. So he started crying, tears started rolling down his cheeks. Panic stricken, he ran to one side first, then to the other, hither and thither in all directions, knowing not where to go. Mother, father, he wailed. His yellow turban came untied and his clothes became muddy. So he got almost mad and he started searching for his parents. He started looking here and there in all directions. Having run to and fro in a rage of running for a while, he stood defeated, his cries suppressed into sobs. So after having been, after he had run to all the sides, so after he got defeated in his attempt to find parents, so finally his cries began to, they got suppressed into sobs. Earlier he was crying loudly to attract attention maybe of his parents or somebody else, but finally when he was like not able to get the desired results, the cries turned into sobs. At little distances on the green grass, he could see, through his filmy eyes, men and women talking. So, at little distance on the green grass, he could see, through his filmy eyes, men and women talking. So, through his, water filled or teary eyes, he could see men and women talking all around him. He tried to look intently among the patches of bright yellow clothes. So he tried to look very carefully among all those people, those who were standing there. Like he tried to find out his parents, but there was no sign of his father and mother among these people who seemed to laugh and talk just for the sake of laughing and talking. So people were there, and he did not. The child actually did not find the real, real fun when people were laughing and talking. The actually they might have been laughing and talking in their own natural way, but the child himself was sad that then he could not find, then he could not he could not make, like he could not relate those people's real happiness. He could not make out like whether they were really happy or not, because he himself was not happy. He ran quickly, this time to a shrine to which people seemed to be crowding. He ran quickly again, this time to a shrine to which people seemed to be crowding. So now he ran towards a shrine where people were there, where people had thronged up. Every little inch of space here was congested with men. Like there was a lot of crowd. No, no empty space was there. But he ran through people's legs, his little sob lingering. Mother, father. So he ran, though there was no room for anyone to run around those people, even then, he ran through those people's legs to find out his parents. Near the entrance to the temple, however, the crowd became very thick. So, near the entrance to the temple, the crowd became very thick. Men jostled each other, heavy men with flashing, murderous eyes and hefty shoulders. The poor child struggled to thrust a way between their feet, but knocked to and fro by their brutal movements. So he tried to go inside those people where there was great rush, but he was thrown aside. In He might have been trampled underfoot, so he might have been crushed by that crowd had he not shrieked at the highest pitch of his voice. So, if he had not cried, if he had not yelled at the highest pitch of his voice, he would have been crushed. There was so much of crowd, and that crowd was so much, it was such a cold crowd. Those people had cold hearts. So, children, the point is like when you are with your parents, you're in the safest hands. So when the moment you are away from your parents, you never know what kind of people are around you. So he would have been crushed if he had not yelled at the top of his voice, "Mother, father!" A man in the surging crowd heard his cry and, stooping with great difficulty, lifted him up in his arms. So, it's not that everybody is cold in the crowd. There was a person who was kind enough and he was able to see that this child was lost and had got separated from his parents. So he came near this child, he stooped, he bent, and he lifted him up in his arms. "How did you get here, child? Whose baby are you?" the man asked, as he steered clear of the mess. He ran quickly again, this time to a shrine to which people seemed to be crowding. So, this we have done. A man in the surging crowd heard his cry and, stooping with great difficulty, lifted him up in his arms. "How did you get here, child? Whose baby are you?" the man asked as he steered clear of the mess. So, when he came out of that crowd, he asked the child, "Oh, how did you get here and whose child you are?" The child wept more bitterly than ever now and only cried, "I want my parents," right? The man tried to soothe him by taking him to the roundabout. The man, the child was crying bitterly. So the first thing the person, that man, had to do was to first make the child comfortable. He took him to the roundabout. And you remember, just a few minutes before, the child wanted to have that roundabout, and how at that time he was not able to spot his parents around him. So he wanted very badly to enjoy the roundabout. So that man now offered him to enjoy the roundabout, and he asked him, "Will you have a ride on the horse?" he gently asked as he approached the ring. So the very first thing the man offered him was a ride on the horse. The child's throat tore into thousand shrill sobs and he only shouted, "I want my mother, I want my father." So the child did not even say no, he said, "I just want my parents." The man headed towards a place where the snake charmer still played on the flute to the swaying cobra. Now the man went towards that snake charmer where he was still playing on the flute to the swaying cobra. So he listen to that nice music, child, he pleaded. So he asked the child to listen to that music. Which music? The which one played on by the man, by that snake charmer. But the child shut his eyes with his fingers and shouted his double pitched strain, "I want my mother, I want my father." So here also the child, just closed his ears and just shouted that he just wanted his parents, nothing else. The man took him near the balloons, thinking the bright colors of the balloons would distract the child's attention and quieten him. So the man thought maybe now the child would be fascinated by the by those very colorful balloons. Maybe he would stop crying, but no. What happened? "Would you like a rainbow colored balloon?" he persuasively asked. That man asked him very convincingly, "Would you like to have that rainbow colored balloon?" The child turned his eyes from the flying balloons and just sobbed, "I want my mother and I want my father." So the child did not even look at the balloons now. He just turned away from that side and he just cried the same thing, "I want my parents." The man, still trying to make the child happy, bore him to the gate where the flower seller sat. Now he took him to that flower seller. "Look, can you smell those nice flowers, child? Would you like a garland to put around your neck?" So, you know the answer. The child turned his nose away from the basket and reiterated his sob, "I want my parents." So this time again, the child got turned away his nose. He turned his nose. He didn't even try to smell. He just repeated the same strain, "I want my parents." Thinking to humor his disconsolate charge by a gift of sweets, the man took him to the counter of the sweet shop. So, thinking to humor his disconsolate charge by a gift of sweets, Now the man thought like he might be able to console that boy by offering him some sweets. The man took him to the counter of the sweet shop. So, what sweets would you like? Would you like, child? He asked. The child turned his face from the sweet shop and only sobbed, I want my mother, I want my father. So, the story written by Mulk Raj Anand, a very famous Indian English fiction writer. So the child, he's this writer is able to convey the idea that though with parents, a child wants everything, but if parents are not with him, he wants nothing but parents. So parents are the most beautiful, the most valuable, uh, you know, aspect of a child's life. Without parents, a child is nothing. For him, the world comes to a naught. The whole world shrinks to the parents. Yeah, but when the parents are there, the child wants everything of the world. He wants something from the minutest to the biggest. But when parents are not there, you may bring him you may bring him the best of the world. He would not like it. He would not even want it, and he would not even look at it. Right? This is what the child's psychology is. So far when we are with our parents, we show all our tantrums, we express all our demands and desires. But those very tantrums, demands, they look good only when the parents are around us. Otherwise those very things appear to be of no importance when parents are not there. So value your parents, right? So now we are going to discuss the questions. What are the things a child sees on his way to the fair, and why does he lag behind? So, what are the things? So, going to ask you people. So, keep yourself, be ready now to answer the questions. You'll be speaking up the answers. I'll be asking you. So, there is a child who has already written the answer. So, the child saw a number of things. Barbie says the child saw a number of things on his way to the fair. He saw toys at the shops. Then he saw a flowering mustard field. He saw dragonflies and butterflies fluttering their wings. He also saw the little insects and worms along the footpath. The child lagged behind. Okay. So he followed the dragonflies and butterflies with his gaze and tried to catch them. But as he entered the grove, a shower of young flowers fell upon him. He stopped and he tried to collect all of them. When he heard the dove, he ran in wild capers round the banyan tree looking for it. Therefore, he lags behind. Okay. Okay. Now raise hands. Those will be answering the questions. Okay, Gurpal, unmute yourself, Gurpal. Yes. Now you can speak up. You can
The
speak.
child sees a number of things which fascinate him on his way to the fair. First, he saw toys on the shop. Then
Hmm.
he saw a flowering mustard field. In the
Hmm.
field, the child saw dragonflies bursting about in their wings and lone glad bees search in the sweetness from the flowers. Then, while walking on the footpath, he was attracted by the insects and the worms. As As he neared the village with his parents, he saw huge crowds of people going to the fair. The child also came across a street meat seller selling sweets like burfi and gulab jamun. Uh, little, uh, a little further, he came across a flower seller who was selling a garland of gulmohar. Walking ahead, he saw a man selling rainbow-colored balloons. He also saw he also saw a snake charmer who stood playing a flute to the snake. Finally, he saw a roundabout in full swing.
Yes, you're right, Gurpal. So you have mentioned all the things which he saw all on the way, and that so because he was like looking at everything, he wanted everything. So he wanted to ask his parents to let him have those things. So that's the reason that he was lagging behind. Okay. Now, second question. In the fair, he wants many things. What are they? Why does he move on without waiting for an answer? So this question has already been the part of the very first question. In the fair, he wanted many things. So those were the things which first he saw, the things which were there on the way to fair. So in that question, you could have avoided the things which he exactly found in the fair. Okay, now the things which he found in the fair. So what are they? In sequence, you'll be mentioning all of them. So why does he move on without waiting for an answer? So just answer me this part, like why does he move on without waiting for an answer? Yes, Nivedita, give the answer.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So
The
why does
child,
he? Hmm.
the child wants gulab jamun, burfi, etc. His mouth waters for burfi. He also wants a garland, balloons, and many other things. But he knows that his miserly parents won't buy him these things, so he moves on without waiting for their answer.
So repeat the second part, like why does he move on without waiting for an answer? Yes, repeat the third part again. Why does he move on? Okay, Anshya, why does he move on without waiting for the answer from his parent side?
The boy moved on without waiting for an answer because he knew that his parents would uh, would not allow him to buy these things and his request would be denied.
And you can also explain like why did he why he felt like that. There was always a reason like why his parents would not allow him to buy one thing or the other. Right? You have to explain. Manyavid, yes. Manyavid, yes. Okay, this Gurshan. Unmute yourself, Gurshan. Gurshan, unmute yourself. Okay, Manyavid, unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
The boy in the fair, the boy wanted to buy a burfi from the sweetmeat seller. He wanted a garland of flowers from the flower seller. Next, he saw a balloon seller and wanted balloon. When he saw the snake charmer, he was attracted to the music of the flute and wanted to listen to it. He wanted to take a ride on the roundabout swing. The boy moved ahead from all the stalls without waiting for a reply because he knew that his parents would not heed to his demands. He knew their replies in each case would be like for the burfi, they would say that he was a greedy child. The garland of flowers would not be bought because it was considered cheap. They would not buy him a balloon because he was grown up to play with it. The child's parents had warned him from listening to such unpleasant music
Hmm.
as was played by the snake charmers.
Hmm. Yes, very good. Clap for Manyavid. Very, very perfect answer. So you are to, first of all, you people mention exactly the things which he saw on the way. Then you exactly mention like what were their answers, what he thought would be the answer of the parents in each case. Right? Okay, now the third question is, when does he realize that he has lost his way? When does he realize that he has lost his way, and how have his anxiety and insecurity been described? So, when does he exactly realize that he has lost his way? Yes, speak the answer, raise the hand, the one who wants to give the answer. Okay, Gurshan, speak up. Gurshan, you have to speak. Okay, Gurshan cannot speak, I guess. Okay, let me ask anyone because everybody has read the chapter. Arpita will speak the answer. Arpita, roll number 3. Arpita. Okay, Dipali, roll number 8.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, better give the answer.
Ma'am, third question.
Yes.
Mm,
Yes.
When the child was in the roundabout and he saw children in swing, he also wanted to go on the roundabout. And when he requested his parents, there was no reply from from his parents. He turned to look at his parents. They were not ahead of him. Uh, he tried to found his parents, but he had lost them. His anxiety and insecurity had been described as when a man questioned him about that how did he get here, and whose baby was and whose baby is him. So he just cried and bitterly than ever. Now he said that I wanted my father and I wanted my mother.
Okay. Now, Barbie, you give the answer.
After getting fascinated by a number of things, when he finally reached a roundabout, he stopped to observe it moving in full swing, with men, women, and children enjoying themselves on it. Then he turned to his parents to ask for permission to go on the rounds, but he heard no reply. At that time, he realized that he lost his way. He looked all up around, but there was no sign of them. A full deep cry rose within his dry throat, and with a sudden jerk of his body, he ran from where he stood, crying out in real fear, "Mother, father." Tears rolled down from his eyes. Panic stricken, he ran from one side to other in all directions to find his parents. His yellow turban came untied and his clothes became muddy.
That is perfect answer. But try to write all these things in your language. Okay. It's okay that you're following the text for your answer, but try to write all these things in your own, words. Otherwise, it was a good answer. Barbie, well done. When does he realize that he has lost his way? When he was at the roundabout, when he saw people enjoying the ride, uh, speaking out their own anxiety, then he wanted to enjoy that ride. He asked his parents to let him have that. But at the time when he turned around to see what his parents' answer was, he realized that his parents were nowhere around him. It was at this moment that he realized that he was lost. So how have his anxiety and insecurity been described? So his anxiety, the moment he realizes that he had been lost or got separated from his parents, he got very anxious and insecure. He looked all around. He ran hither and thither. He even went to the shrine where there was a lot of crowd, and didn't even mind, hitting into the like uh, rushing around. Though there was no space, even then he could run here and there, and almost he was going to be crushed in that crowd. So it was all because he was feeling so insecure that he did not mind getting into that crowd and finding, and he was just trying to find his parents out. So talk about all those things in brief, in your own words. Now the next question is, why does the lost child lose interest in the things that he had wanted earlier? Very important question. So why does the lost child lose interest in the things that he had wanted earlier? So now we'll give the answer. There are some children, those who never raise hands. Okay, GR28 roll number, speak up. So why does he lose interest in the things which he wanted earlier?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
The child loses interest in the things that he wanted earlier because at that moment he only wanted his parents. He got panicked and wanted to be he wanted to back with them again.
Yes, the only main point is that he wanted, when he when he was lost, when he had been, when he got himself separated from his parents, then he became so insecure and anxious that he ran hither and thither. He went to even the to the most unsafest places to find his parents out, and he was able to realize that when he is not with his parents, then he is not at all safe. So at that time, his only attention, his only interest was to find his parents out. And he didn't want anything else. Though earlier, just a few minutes ago, he had been, deeply, fascinated by those very things. But after a few moments, in the absence of his parents, those very things had lost all their sheen or interest. So now he just wanted parents because parents were not with him. With the parents, he was as if the whole world was with him, but without parents he felt as if he felt himself to be very insecure and anxious. What do you think? What do you think happens in the end? Does the child find his parents? What do you think? Yes. So though this is not mentioned in the story, do you think he would be able to find his parents out? Okay, there is a child who sent the answer. Manyavit has sent the answer. Manyavit, speak out the answer. Yes, Manyavit.
Yes, ma'am.
Hmm.
The ending of the story is not given. I think that in the end, the boy finds his parents standing at the fair reception. Thus, the child finds his parents and reunite once again.
Okay. So though this ending of the story has not been revealed, but we think, or I think, the child would be able to, or the child will be able to find his parents out, because the person, the one who took him, lifted him up, and was very concerned about making him comfortable first. He might have taken him uh, to the commanding room or to the main consultation room. From there he might have made some announcement, and the parents might have been able to contact that person because of that call or announcement. So he would have been able to find his parents out. Okay, how to ensure not to get lost? So talk about it. So what do you think, children? How to make sure that you're not lost in this kind of place? Yes. How to make sure that you don't get lost? How to make sure that you children don't get lost in the fair or these kinds of crowded places? The time is almost over. Now let me see who is going to give me the answer. The children who never ever raise hands. Keshav. Keshav, roll number 30, unmute yourself. Keshav. Okay, Gurshan Singh, only your hand is up. Give the answer, if you can speak up.
Yes, ma'am. It
Give
is
the answer.
very common that children get lost in fears and crowds. It is a duty of both parents and the children to ensure not to get lost. The parents need to be more careful at crowded place. Before entering a crowded place, the parent should fix a point where the child memories, home address, and telephone numbers remain. On the other hand, the child should hold the hands of the parents tightly in the crowded places. He should keep an eye on his parents so as not lose sight of them.
Yes. So it's very important that the children don't get lost in the fears of these kinds, because uh, it's a universal fact. Like, it's by nature the children happen to be very sensitive. Whatever they see, they get fascinated towards it. So it is basically the duty of the parents that they don't lose sight of their children. They always keep their they must make sure that the children are holding their hands or their fingers all the time. And moreover, the children must be taught at home only. They must be instructed very, very minutely at home, like how they must behave in the fair or in the crowded places like this. So here everybody should be careful, including parents and children both. Right? Thank you very much, children. The time is almost over. So today you people write down these answers in your fair notebooks. Tomorrow we'll start the next chapter from this very book. Right?